He was mopping the CEO's marble hallway when a trembling little voice said, "Please, sir, they beat my mom, she's dying." The man froze. That voice came from the CEO's own daughter. But when he followed her, what he found shattered every wall between wealth and worth. Friends, before we begin, if this story touches your heart, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes kindness can change the world. Late evening in a towering glass building that touched the clouds, the janitor named Marcus Brown pushed his mop silently across the CEO's floor. He was a tall black man with tired eyes, a quiet soul who never complained, never spoke unless spoken to. Most people didn't even know his name, they just called him, the janitor. Marcus worked night shifts to afford medicine for his paralyzed mother. His hands were cracked, his shoes worn, but his spirit, unbroken. Still, in that world of silk suits and cold glances, he was invisible. Until that night. As the rain poured outside, Marcus was almost done when he heard soft footsteps behind him. He turned and saw a small girl, barely 9 years old, wearing a pink dress and holding her arm, bruised, trembling. "Sir, please," she whispered, "they beat my mom. She's dying." Marcus dropped his mop. "What? Who? Where's your mother?" The girl's voice shook. "Downstairs, they locked her in the storage room. She tried to stop them, please hurry." Marcus didn't think twice. He ran after the girl, heart pounding. Down the hallway, past the elevators, through a dim corridor where the lights flickered. The girl led him to a locked steel door behind the staff area. From inside came faint sobs and muffled voices. Marcus kicked the door, once, twice, and it burst open. Inside, a woman lay on the ground, bruised and gasping for air. Standing over her were 2 security guards, the CEO's men, shocked to see him. "What the hell, Brown?" one shouted. "Get out before you lose your job." But Marcus ignored them. He rushed to the woman's side. "Ma'am, it's okay. You're safe now." The girl clung to him, crying, "That's my mom." Then Marcus froze. The woman's face, pale, bloodied, yet familiar, he'd seen it before. She was Clara White, the CEO's personal assistant. The guards barked orders, she stole money. "We caught her transferring funds." Clara tried to speak, coughing. "I didn't steal, I was covering for him, for Mr. Whitmore." Marcus looked down at the little girl, who was crying into his shirt. "Your mom works for the CEO." She nodded. "Yes, but she's not supposed to be here after hours." He told her to hide something, then those men came. Marcus knew this was bigger than it seemed. He lifted Clara in his arms, ignoring the shouting guards. "Call an ambulance," he told them. "Now." One guard smirked. "You'll lose your job for this." Marcus looked him dead in the eyes. "Then I'll lose it doing what's right." Hours later, in the hospital, Clara was stable. Her daughter, Lily, sat beside Marcus, still clutching his sleeve. She hadn't let go since he'd saved them. When the CEO, Richard Whitmore, finally stormed into the hospital, anger burned in his eyes. "Marcus, what have you done? You assaulted my security." Marcus stood tall. "Your guards beat your assistant nearly to death, and your daughter saw it all." The CEO's face went pale. "My daughter." Lily looked up from her chair. "Daddy, they hurt mommy because of you." Silence fell like a storm. Marcus didn't understand, until Clara, weak but awake, whispered, "Richard, she's your daughter too." The words hung in the air. The CEO froze, his lips trembling. What? Clara's eyes filled with tears. 9 years ago, before you married your current wife, we had Lily. You told me to stay silent, too. Protect your image. I did. But your wife found out. She sent those men to destroy everything, to silence me." Marcus's heart clenched. The little girl he'd saved was the CEO's hidden child. Richard collapsed into a chair, burying his face in his hands. "My God, what have I done?" For the first time, the mighty CEO looked small. Days passed. The truth spread through the building like wildfire. The police arrested the corrupt security guards, and soon, the CEO's wife was exposed for orchestrating it all. Richard resigned temporarily, handing over control of the company to his board. He focused on making amends, to Clara, to Lily, and even to Marcus. One afternoon, he visited the janitor's locker room. No suit, no arrogance, just humility. "Marcus," he said softly, "I owe you more than I can ever repay." You didn't just save my daughter, you saved me from myself. Marcus nodded slowly. You don't owe me anything, sir. Just, be there for them. The CEO hesitated, then smiled faintly. Actually, I do owe you something. Starting today, you're not our janitor anymore. You're the new head of staff operations. You'll manage the people who've been ignored for too long. Marcus's eyes widened. Sir, It's not charity, Richard interrupted. It's respect. You've earned it. And from that day forward, the man who once mopped the marble floors now walked them with dignity. Months later, at the company's annual gala, Marcus stood beside the CEO, his uniform replaced by a sharp suit. The lights glimmered, the guests applauded, and Clara, healthy again, watched proudly from the crowd with Lily in her arms. As Marcus gave a short speech, his voice trembled but his words were firm. People think strength comes from power, he said. But real strength comes from compassion. I was once invisible, but someone's cry for help made me see what really matters. Never walk past someone in pain. You never know whose life, or heart, you might save. The audience stood, applauding. Even the CEO wiped away a tear. And in that moment, the janitor, the child, and the fallen CEO stood as proof that humanity has no rank, no color, no title. It only has a heartbeat. Movie camera outro, narrator tone soft and emotional. If this story touched your soul, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes that kindness still exists. Because sometimes, the smallest act of courage can change the biggest heart.